Tom Bower just revealed what he believes is the real reason why Prince Harry is so desperate to return to the United Kingdom. You may be thinking that he simply wants to reconcile with his father, but according to Bower, Harry's sudden desire to return to Britain has a twisted reason.
Harry is only coming back because he's got nothing to do in California. He's coming back because he's trying desperately to somehow rebuild a life here. It isn't going to work. Not only has he got nowhere to live.
Just a few days ago, Harry and Meghan announced that they would leave their Montecito mansion in California and return to the UK. To show that they are serious, their children have been enrolled in a British school where they would resume the new school year in the coming months. Many commentators have given different reasons why they could be returning to the United Kingdom, but none have known the real reason yet. But Tom Bower, who has been a trusted royal commentator and biographer, has revealed what he believes is the real reason why Harry and Meghan are so desperate to return to the United Kingdom. By all means.
I've always predicted the fall. The fall is going to be the great story of the Sussexes. And how it unravels is going to be fascinating because there's only one way this is going, and that's badly for them. Well, I think it's an amazing development, but also it's a bit of a mystery. I mean, why have they come back? We haven't been told. My view, they come back for two reasons. One is they're desperate. It's the end of the run in California. They're out of money, out of luck, out of opportunities. They've hit the buffers, so to speak, but also they've come back because they're trying to worm their way back into the royal family and into British life.
According to Bower, Harry may have looked around at his life in California and realized that he no longer has a meaningful purpose there. His life appears very different from the one he once lived as a working member of the royal family. Harry may wake up, spend time with the children, and go through the same routine without having the kind of public role and structure that once defined his life. Harry has realized that he has lost his value and importance in Montecito and is now looking for a way to rebuild himself.
I did say that Sussexes are desperate. Desperate to come back to Britain, desperate to find some purpose in life, desperate to get royal approval again so they can somehow be revalidated.
Harry knows that he cannot rebuild that life just anywhere. The place where he believes he can truly rebuild his identity is the United Kingdom. His desire to return may not simply be about making temporary visits. It could be about establishing a new life in Britain and regaining some form of place and relevance there. The irony is that Harry once claimed he had left the UK behind and described his move to California as a freedom flight.
It's 6 a.m. on the 14th of March. And we are on the freedom flight. We are leaving Canada and we are headed to Los Angeles.
But now, according to Bower, the place Harry once saw as his escape may have become the place where he feels trapped. He left Britain in search of freedom, only to find himself in California, struggling to discover what his new life is actually supposed to be. Bower continued and raised a sensitive question. For some time now, Harry has been traveling to the UK more frequently than normal, and his excuse was that he was coming to support Wellchild and promote the Invictus Games in 2027. Well, these events, which he claims are important to him, became a very big gateway for Harry. They gave him a reason to spend more time in Britain and gradually reestablish himself there.
It isn't going to work. Not only has he got nowhere to live, but these charities, the Wellchild, it's all that's piffling, it's nothing in terms of the real charities. And in Invictus, he's got no important, he can do everything on the telephone or in the Zoom. He doesn't need to be back. No, this is Harry desperately trying to find and build a new life in Britain.
The more time he spends in Britain, the more he reestablishes himself. After spending so many years in California, his relationship with Britain has changed dramatically. He is no longer a working royal, and he no longer carries out the same official duties. His relationship with several members of his family has also become strained. So, his continued appearances have become his way of rebuilding his connection to the country and demonstrating that he still wants to be involved in British public life. Tom Bower did not stop there. He continued by saying that Harry's increasing appearances and engagements in Britain are his attempts to remind people of his connection to the country and reinsert himself into British public life so they would know that he is still part of them and that he did not just leave completely.
The point is, at the moment, unfortunately, the British royal family is not only fair game, but is fighting for some sort of survival. I mean, it's not going to disappear, but it's not as popular as it once was, especially amongst the young.
Tom Bower also believes that Harry is scared. Prince Andrew just had his remaining titles and military affiliations completely stripped from him following his arrest. And sources suggest Harry has been watching that very closely. Because if the institution was willing to do that to Andrew, a man who was born into that family and served it for decades, what exactly is stopping them from doing the same to Harry?
I think Harry's great fear is that when his father sadly will one day die, that William as king will strip the Sussexes of their titles. That would have been inconceivable not so long ago. And everyone thought it was impossible to do it to Andrew, but they found a way, as the British always do, to sign a piece of paper and say that Prince Andrew is suddenly Mr. Andrew, and the same could well happen to the Sussexes. And I'm sure he fears that William, to get rid of the problem of the Sussex.
Everything Harry still holds, the Duke of Sussex title, the Prince title, his place in the line of succession, all of it could theoretically go the same way Andrew's did, and Harry knows it. And Tom Bower believes that fear is a very significant part of why Harry is suddenly so eager to come back, rebuild relationships, and stay on the right side of the people who have the power to take it all away.
And, coming on top of Prince Andrew and all that saga and Harry and Meghan and the damage that they've caused, the last thing the House of Windsor needs, the King needs, is yet another blow from another member of the family.
Another reason for his return, as stated by Tom Bower, is that Harry allegedly wants royal approval and validation. So, their return to Britain could also be about seeking revalidation after everything that has happened in the past 6 years. They have been away from the royal family, and now they may be trying their best to be accepted, acknowledged, and treated as part of the royal family again. So they could at least restore some of the legitimacy and importance that Harry lost after the separation.
They're going back to a place where they can feel special and they can get reservations at any restaurant, and the tabloid attention will pick back up because it's withered down to an arid dryness now. And they can't stand it. She can't stand it, but he can't stand it either. He's just as petty and small as she is.
Then comes the big elephant in the room, which is their finances. According to Bower, Harry and Meghan have been facing financial pressure. Their Netflix deal did not go as planned, their Spotify deal failed after just one season, and even the Invictus Games, which is one of Harry's motivations to return to the UK, has been receiving low sponsorship.
Well, I think in the immediate future, they're not short of money. I mean, they've got enough money from Harry's book and the Netflix deal and the rest to keep going. The point is that they, in the longer term, will run out of money. And I'm sure that's what is terrifying Meghan, who is a very, very money-conscious person, having had a youth which was not flush with cash.
Their California lifestyle is also draining them financially. They can barely keep up with the expenses that come with living in such a mansion. Their mortgage is expensive, and even their staff need to be paid. So, they might be able to handle it for now, but the way things are going, they can't keep this up for long. Their coming to the UK could therefore be a way to rebuild what is remaining of their so-called empire.
They're pretty well burnt out in California. They're going to run out of money themselves as well in the not too distant future. So whether they really want to side with the Spencers against the father, King Charles, remains to be seen.
Harry has lost part of his identity, and to regain it, he now has to be connected to the royal family again, because his biggest source of public recognition remains his royal identity. If that identity is removed, no matter how independent he becomes, the public still knows him first and foremost as Prince Harry, a member of the British royal family. Tom Bower has also noted that many of their commercial ventures that have been successful in the past have been connected to the royal family and their experiences within it. This now creates a huge problem. Harry may claim he wants to be independent, but public interest surrounding him at the current moment is strongest when he is connected to Britain, the monarchy, and the royal family.
The Sussex name is toxic. But at the same time, the only commercial success the Sussexes have had is related to the British royal family. And somebody like Netflix would recognize that yes, while Harry and Meghan, their reputation is tarnished and they've produced more duds than wins, the wins are directly related to the British royal family. So I think that there would be an opportunity there.
So, for Harry to have a great future, it may be extremely important for him to maintain this public identity, hence his sudden move to the United Kingdom. But can Harry do that? Can he really maintain a good relationship with his father and his brother? I don't think so, and neither does Tom Bower. The reason is Meghan Markle.
At the moment, it's causing huge problems. I think that Harry will try his hardest to remove the problems so that he can be reaccepted into the royal fold. That's what this is about. So he will do his best to neutralize the anger and somehow persuade them that he can be trusted again. And I don't believe he can do that because Meghan is the worst person in the world to ever compromise or apologize. So I think that they are a pain, they're a nuisance, they're a danger to the royal family, and we'll just see how well Harry can manage it.
Harry has realized that he could be going into obscurity without the royal family by his side. In Britain, Harry has a long history. People know about his military background, his charity work, his relationship with Invictus, and his years as a senior member of the royal family. But in California, he is competing in an entirely different world filled with celebrities, entertainment executives, entrepreneurs, and established media personalities.
It's not the protection, but the status. Meghan likes being driven around in a convoy. She likes the blaring sirens and the motorbike outriders. That's what she wanted. He ain't got that, that's for sure.
A few occasional visits are one thing. Trying to rebuild a life in Britain would require a much more stable arrangement. Bower therefore suggests that Harry's ambition to return could be much more complicated than simply booking flights for charity appearances. Bower also argues that Harry and Meghan do not like being outside the public spotlight. During the discussion about Charles Spencer's upcoming book on Princess Diana, Bower suggests that any renewed public conversation about Diana could create another opportunity for Harry and Meghan to receive attention.
That's what they want. They want to be back in the news. They can't stand being out of the spotlight. And so I'm sure they'll both jump on the coattails of Charles Spencer's book. But whether he cooperates himself with the Sussexes, I have my doubts. I don't think he'd want to be tarnished.
He argues that they may be interested in stories that bring them back into the headlines and keep them connected to the royal conversation. This is important because a return to Britain would naturally generate major media attention.
But what are the odds? Because we've heard rumors that Harry and Meghan are developing a Diana documentary. What are the odds that Harry would buy the rights to this book and try to create the documentary for this book? What are the odds that Harry could be collaborating with his uncle? Because I don't trust these two individuals. I actually feel a lot of sympathy for Prince William. I think that this will anger, frustrate, upset William. But I think that Harry will be completely fine with it.
Every appearance Harry makes in the UK, especially one involving the royal family, would immediately become a major story. That level of attention is attractive to the Sussexes. There you have it. As revealed by Tom Bower, these could be the real reasons why Harry is so desperate to return to the UK. What are your thoughts about this? Let us know in the comment section, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next video.